Oh yeah. I wanna dig a little deeper, Lord, in the storehouse of your love.
My name is Steve Squyres, and I have a story to tell about how God has blessed me this year. It was about 10 months ago. My life was spinning out of control. I was coming to the food pantry, and I had attended the Hope class. I think I'd been once or twice over the 3 years that I'd lived in this area, and but I just wasn't ready to give up that lifestyle, you know. And so when I met Steve, or when I seen Steve living down the street from me, I knew, you know, I felt a connection with that because I was already going to the food pantry there. So I woke up one morning and decided I had finally had enough. I couldn't stand myself any longer, and I knew I needed to get help. The next day I attended an AA meeting, and I had pledged to live sober for 24 hours. And the following day was the day of hope. And I came to the day of hope at Southside Church, and I talked to Steve about possibly coming to church at Southside. And he told me the times that the services were, and to feel free to come Sunday. So the next Sunday, I went to church, and Steve introduced me to a few people, and the friendship and the love that people shared with me, and just I'd never felt so welcome anywhere in my life. And I just knew that this was a church I had to be a part of. Well, I went to the Hope class and met Dan, and he really made me feel welcome. I got so much out of that class. I felt a part of something. I started reading my Bible more. I started listening to the sermons. And one of the main things that I really liked that Dan brought out in the Hope group was he taught me how to read the Bible and look for recovery in what I was reading. And that helped me to understand so much more of the Bible than I'd known previously. As soon as I came to Southside, I noticed that my life was turning around. And I knew that God was working in my life. I could tell God was working in my life. It was not something that hit me all of a sudden. It seemed like it was over. I didn't have a spiritual awakening, so to speak. I think it was just something that progressed. And as I grew in my biblical knowledge and in coming to church, things started happening. My prayers started getting answered. I would pray about something, and then it would turn around. There were several things that I was blessed. I've been blessed by this year. I was living in an apartment that was surrounded by drugs and alcohol. And I was praying about that, what I needed to find someplace else to move to. The guy that just lives right down the street, 4 or 5 houses down, owns a property that's catty corner across from him. And he gave me an apartment. And he just transferred everything over from what I was paying now to this new apartment, and it's twice the place. Plus, it wasn't long after that I'd been on parole from my previous stint in TDC. I made it off parole, and it was only by the grace of God. If I would have still been out there doing my partying thing, more than likely I would have been back in prison by now. So he saved me. It was another miracle that he blessed me with. And then third, I've been battling for the last 15 years hepatitis C, and I almost died from this disease in 2011. I had what they called esophageal hemorrhaging. I'd been through treatment 3 previous times with an interferon ribavirin-based treatment, and none of them were successful. Well, they came out with a new drug called Harvoni, and I took the Harvoni, and it worked this time. And the new medication was such a breeze. I felt fine, made it through the treatment so fast, and what I was going through treatment for 9 months and a year was now being done in 12 weeks. So before I even got going good, the treatment was over, and I was pronounced cured. So that was a tremendous blessing. I wonder what's going to happen next. You know, how is it ever going to get any better than this? Am I at my climax? Is this going to go downhill now? Because I can't imagine being much happier than I am in this church right now.
I wanna dig a little deeper, Lord.